Hey everyone, Sophia here for my great challenge. Welcome back to my channel and my new series, Adventures in Sewing. This is episode 4. Today I am finishing the robe that I have been making almost live with you guys. It's a flannel robe. It's the first time I actually make a garment with sleeves. Let me sit proper. And it's the first time I work with flannel. So I'm very, very happy with it so far. I think I'm managing pretty well for a newbie. And I have to tell you, I am even more enthusiastic about all the comments that you guys are leaving. Not only that, but some of you, well, most of you, I think, are not only watching the video, but you're also reading the comments. And you are learning as well. And I think this is really what YouTube was all about when they started YouTube, was to make it a shared experience and a learning experience. And this is really fitting the purpose of it. Like, you guys are getting something out of those videos. It's not just entertainment or train wreck value. You're actually learning something. So I will continue to make those videos. The next time I make a garment, I will resume my regular content as well, because I know that these videos, as opposed to my regular content, are not super popular. I really don't care about that. It's not what it's about. It's about sharing my experience and learning and getting to ask questions and getting answers from some of you who are way more proficient than me at sewing. I'm getting there, okay? I'm getting there. So again, this is my first time working with flannel. And it's my first time making a real garment that has sleeves and a little bit more of tailoring, I guess. Because an apron, you know, I mean, is an apron. Okay, so we're going to dive right into it. Today, I have to do the neckband and I have to do the belt. Now, the neckband is not going to be that complicated for me, because it's almost like binding on a quilt. And you know that I quilt, so it's not something that I'm unfamiliar with. However, the instructions themselves are really not all that clear. So I spent some time this morning going over it, and I think I figured it out. So let's look at this here, that piece of pattern. And if you remember, we did not know what to do with these notches here. I'm going to zoom back on. Okay. We had no idea what it was for. And we thought, well, maybe, and I say thought because I say we because I thought alongside of you, that, oh, maybe it's for like some kind of attachment loop or something. Well, that's not the belt. That's the collar. That's the band that runs around the neck. So what are these for? So if you look at the instructions, other than stitch the front band sections together at center, okay, that's to join the two pieces to make one large one. Step 12 is turning the seam allowance on long unnotched edges of band. Press, trim the seam allowance to 3/8. Okay, and after that you got to pin it and everything. So I was thinking, well, let's look at one band. This is the notched side of it. You see the little notch I did, right? So they want you to press the unnotched part of it. I should have a darker background, shouldn't I? Okay, so here's the notched. If you see the notch right here. Okay, so that's the notch part. So we're not touching that. We're going to touch this one. And I was thinking, well, if I do a seam at 5/8, and then the other one is 5/8, it's really going to reduce the band to very small. I don't think that's what they want. So I was thinking, but wait a second. Remember those little triangles and that dot? And what I had done was mark them with dots. Well, guess what? If I go like this, at the base of the triangle, because the triangle is going this way, right? I have my two dots here, and then I have the other dot here, right? Let me flatten this, and I'm gonna go and get my little ruler, and we're gonna see whether the distance from here to there is 3/8, which is where they want us to cut. This is a great tool. So I'm just gonna go like this from the top of the little triangle to this. It is almost 3/8, right? So I think that what we need to do is press this at 5/8, which is where the regular seam allowance would be, okay? So you press everything at 5/8, and then you trim to make it shorter. You don't want to trim first. I don't know why. That's probably what I would do. Another thing I had thought of doing is not trim it and just turn it on itself like this. This is the part of the band that's going to go on the inside of the robe, and this is the part that's going to go on the top. If I was doing this, it probably would look a little bit better and more finished, and I've decided that this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to try to trim it. I'm going to fold it this way and see what happens. All right, so I'm using the 2 dots that were at the bottom here as my fold line, and then I'm folding it onto itself. And what's going to happen once and it really doesn't matter, I'm losing fabric. Instead of cutting it, I'm tucking it inside. What's going to happen is that once we stitch this to the robe, they want you to fold this over like this. You can't really see. Okay, they want you to fold this over on the other side, on the inside of the robe, and slit stitch, which is really what we do for binding and quilting. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to press it at the seam allowance, because they don't give you another number, and then I'm going to repress it, moving it like this, because I don't want to cut it. God forbid, if I made a mistake, right, and this is not what I'm supposed to do, and I cut it, then I'm stuck with a shorter width on the band. So I don't want to cut it for multiple reasons. One, because I'm not very good at cutting straight, and two, because if I made a mistake and this is not what's supposed to happen, then I have cut fabric and I will have to go to my big large piece of fabric and recut the band. So let me go do that. Turn on the iron, and I'm going to fold it, double fold like this, like a bias tape, through the whole length. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to join my 2 bands together right here at 5/8, which is where it's supposed to be, right? So I'm just going to do a regular seam right here. I'm not going to film that. You understand what I'm doing. And then once I pressed this open, like this, all right, it's not the right size. Okay, let's use this. Once I press this open, then I will turn this once at the seam allowance, and then whatever is here, I would turn it under it again. So I'm still at the seam allowance, and I have the 3/8 that they're asking for, which is about right here. All right, I don't know if I'm making sense. I hope I am. The only thing you got to make sure you do when you do the when you join the left side and the right side of the collar is that you keep the notches, one here and the other one right here, on top or at the bottom. It doesn't matter. They got to be on the same length. And then the bottom part is a notch. So you have one notch, one for the left, one for the right, that's on one side, and then on the other side you have no notches. Let's get started. So here I have joined my 2 bands together. Let me flip this around, and I'm going to press this open. Okay, So now I'm looking for the side that is unnotched, and it's this one right here. Let me just verify. Yes, okay. And what I need to do is take this, and at 5/8, which is my allowance, I'm going to turn this. Okay. And press it. And as I go, I keep on making sure I have 5/8. Okay, 5/8. You know, it's terrible weather outside, right? So I'm trying to stay close to the window. All right. I thought this through as I was ironing it because, you know, I'm kind of analytical and I also don't want to make a mistake and misguide you or anything, even though you all know I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. If I fold it under, which sounds great as an idea, okay? Well, the problem is, what do you do when you get to the seam, which is the part that's in the neck right here? If you turn that under, then you're gonna have this bulk right there, and it's not gonna look too good, all right? So I think I'm gonna cut it. I don't wanna, but I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna follow the directions. They want you to cut it. I'm gonna cut it. So I got my scissors. And I'm just gonna cut it. 2/8. How much do they want? I think it's 3/8 or 2/8. You remember? All right. So you cut 3/8 from the seam allowance, which leaves you 2/8. So we're gonna cut at 2/8. I'm not gonna measure it. I'm just gonna. Let me see. Wing it. So I really don't like the idea of cutting it, but I have to follow the directions and not come up with my own plan B. Okay. There's got to be a reason. You got to trust. There's got to be a reason why they want you to do that. I'm not following the fabric design because you never know if that's crooked, then I'm cutting crooked. I'm just ballparking 3/8. I don't know if it's ballpark or eyeball. We're eyeballing it. Okay, I'm at 3/8. Okay, so I got a good eye. All right. Let's keep going. This is going to take forever. Oh, yeah. And tip of the day, hold your scissors properly. This is for your other fingers. Yeah, I wasn't holding the scissors properly. I'm sure I'll have comments about that. They still cut the other way, you know, but we want proper form, right? Okay, so this is the part where having a dress form is very helpful for me because I'm not too good at this stuff. Okay, I'm supposed to have marked the middle part of the neck, but apparently I didn't. So we're gonna go this way instead. In the front here, do you see them? I have the 2 notches here. One here, one here. And if you remember on a neckband, we have 2 notches as well. One here, the seam, and then another notch right here. If you remember, we pressed the side that didn't have the notches. So, I just gotta think. Right. So you go right side to right side, and you're gonna put your notches together here. Let's start with pinning that, okay? Okay, let's lay it flat. I said flat. Okay. All right, let's get the other one. Make sure we don't twist. It is twisted. Okay, let's make sure this is not twisted. Find the other one. And then match that notch here. Okay. I should have brought my pin cushion, right? Instead of fishing in a bowl. That's ridiculous. Go on with it. Okay. And we're pinning perpendicular. Okay. Before I tackle the neck, which is going to be the most difficult, for me at least, because I've never done that. Okay. We're going to do the front. So we know we have the right notch here. We'll keep going and pin this. Oh, another tip that you guys gave me yesterday in the comments is to get the pins with the big heads. I have that, and I have the ones with the flat heads too. But I'm just using those right now. Okay. All right, so you see what I'm doing? Now remember, this is the part that we pressed, right? So this is going to go around, but we're not there yet. I just want to do it the right way right now. I'm taking my time because I really like a pucker on the collar or on the neckband. It's really going to show. So I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, so let me finish this side here and then this side here by just pinning the band onto the opening of the robe without pulling anything. And obviously this robe has a natural X to it. It looks it to me. It looks like it's got a natural X. I don't know. I don't remember cutting in diagonal, so maybe it doesn't. What happens if I put it straight? Would that be easier? No, it looks like it's got a natural diagonal. I don't know. I don't remember cutting at an angle. Okay, be right back. So it took some time, but I got the whole front on both sides pinned all the way to the bottom. And at the bottom, you get a little bit extra, and that's normal because once you fold it together to the other side, you're going to fold it onto itself this way, and then we'll stitch it to finish it off. So this is done, but now I got to figure out how we're going to do the collar. Okay, so I'm at the neck. They say to make little notches along the neckline here to adjust how it fits. I've never done that. I'm really freaking out right now. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, so we're just gonna this is supposed to go. Let's move this up a little bit. You know, maybe this one I should do flat on the table instead, right? Yeah, let's do that. All right, so it's much easier to work flat for this one. So here we are, notch to notch. You can't see that, but they're right here. Trust me, they're right here, notch to notch. Okay, this is the band, this is the robe. All right, so I'm nice and flat, and what I'm gonna do, I don't know what I'm doing, let's be clear, okay? But I have an idea of what I'm supposed to do. I'm just gonna go and eyeball the middle right here, and I'm gonna bring the middle right over here. And I'm going to pin this. I don't have any seam to match or anything, but I'm gonna pin this. Okay, so I have from notch to middle, okay? So now I'm going to count where the middle of this is, and that's just about here, a little bit before now I'm pulling here. All right, so basically here. All right, so I'm going to bring this here to the edges. Okay, then I have from here to here, I make this flat. I'm going to put a pin in the middle. I don't know if this is going to work. Okay, and then this is nice and flat. Some from here to here and here, at those two middle parts here, I'm going to put a pin too. This one I gotta put back. Okay, because it fell off. Alright. So then we're gonna put one here. Okay. Okay, so it looks like I got the whole thing. I don't have any gathering. It's so nice and flat, but they do want you to cut little notches here at the neck. So I guess I'm gonna do that. Let me look at the pattern to see how many you gotta do. I'm not sure why, other than to stop the neck from pulling and kind of like give it ease. I'm not sure why you do that here, but otherwise, yeah, it looks flat and nice. Oof. Crossing my fingers here. I wish I was live and you guys could tell me. Okay, so it says trim where necessary. I don't see where this is necessary. However, I do see where the fabric makes those two little, not pleats, but it's naturally doing that. So I'm gonna do little notches there. Because maybe that's where you need them. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, and I'm doing one before and one after those natural little, you see how it creates those little two mounds here, those two little pleats? Okay, so, and I'm not going all the way to the seam line, by the way, okay? I'm just doing a little bit here. So I'm doing one before and one after. Maybe that's what you're supposed to do. I don't know. Okay. And I don't see any other place where it's doing that, but we're going to do one before. I'm making it up here. We're going to do one before the shoulder and one after the shoulder. It kind of makes sense. Don't ask me why, it just does. Okay, all right, let's do one in the middle. I don't know. We're gonna do one in the middle just in case. Here. It's gonna give fabric a little bit more give. I don't know. Okay, so this is done. So now we stitch the whole thing at 5/8 of an inch. Should I baste? This is very, very large. I think that I can manage without basting because I overpinned. So let's go to the machine and do this. I don't know about those notches. like I said, I'm seeing those two natural things here. This is flat here, so I don't have any pleat or gather, but I figured that if there's this happening here, something's got to happen there to kind of ease it a little bit. I don't know. We'll find out once that's done. First things first, I want to make sure I got enough here in my bobbin, because we're doing a length here of material, and it looks like I have enough. So I got pins everywhere. Should I sew with the band on top or the band at the bottom? We're going to put the band on top. Why? Don't know. Oh, because that's where the pins are and the pin heads. So I should be able to remove them. So I'm starting here. And I'm going to go really, really slow, because I don't want to create folds. That's not slow at all. Okay, and as I go, I remove pins. And you know what's interesting here is that I thought the sleeves were going to be the most difficult because I've never done them, but this is not easy because I'm not sure I'm doing the right thing. All right, remove pins. Oops. Don't know where it went. Alright, so you remember I have the band. This is going to go and fold the other way around, right? And I have the whole robe on my lap right now. Oh boy, I'm super tense, guys. Super tense. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Okay, this is going to take forever. Alright, I'm adjusting fabric wherever it needs because I want it flat. All right, at some point you're going to hear a clunk. That's me going over the DMZ, the seam between the contrast fabric and the pink fabric right here. Oh, I just went over the pin. Well, you know what? Let's just go over pins, all right? Apparently I can do that. Yay! Okay, so here I am approaching the shoulder and the neck. So what I'm going to do, other than making sure the fabric here is nice and flat where my hand is, I'm looking here at my edges. Ow, I just pinned myself. I want to make sure that everything is nice and flat here. Okay, so I'm using one finger here, you see that, to hold flat, and then this here to go like this. And we're going to go slow. Are you guys feeling the suspense here? I'm trying to keep everything nice and flat. So I'm going by feel more than anything else. I don't feel any bulk, any nothing, so let's keep going. so I removed all the pins. Is this the front or the back? Oh yeah, boots are in the front. Okay. No pucker. Alright, so we're gonna put that on this way. Fit you right. You know, you guys said I have to give her a name, right? We're gonna call her Magda. Okay. So Magda here is wearing the robe. Alright, so this is the band. So we're gonna look at the band, and I see no pucker. Not one pucker. Holy cannoli. And the back is, wow. The back is awesome. I gotta show you a close-up of this. So here we have, this is at the shoulder, right? Here's the shoulder right here. You see the seam? Okay. And here is the neck. I think I did good. I did good. All right, so now, you want to see the front too in close-ups, right? Okay, all right, and here's the front bend. All right, okay. So, what they want you to do now is trim this, the seam we just created right here. So we're going to trim it a little bit. You don't have to finish it with a zigzag or anything because it's going to be inside, because this needs to get folded and then pressed. So I'm going to trim these and I'm going to fold this. I have the fold line somewhere marked, and that's going to get folded onto itself. It's hard to hold the camera like this, okay? And then this part here that's going to be on the inside, it's going to go slightly, well, slightly, exactly over the seam, and that gets slip stitch hand sewn, okay? Whew. What an adventure this was. I gotta tell you, I was more tense for this than I was for the sleeves. Okay, so here are my seams, right, from the band I just did, and I'm just gonna trim them because they need to be a little bit shorter, otherwise it creates bulk. And again, we don't have to finish them, so you just go along the line, making sure you don't catch the rest of your robe, which we're gonna go like this instead, because God forbid I goof, right? Alright, so I'm just taking off about 2/8. So here I'm just pressing the outer part of the band, and what I'm doing basically is repressing everything, all right? So if I flip it around, you see that I have pieces. Okay. The seam we just made is going this way towards the band, and then the one we made earlier is going this way. So they're basically facing each other like this, right? So it goes like this. Well, you can't see. It goes like this, basically. So I'm just pressing this. I'm going to press it really, really nice. And once that's done, I'll press this over this way, a little tiny bit over the seam line, like this. So I'll take the band and I'll fold it over the seam line from earlier, a little bit above it, and then I'll press like this to turn the band on itself, and then this part here gets split stitch. All right, let me finish this. You remember the 3 dots and the triangles that I thought they were for the seam line? No, you know what they mark? It's only once you fold it onto itself that you get to see it. They mark where the shoulders go. They're supposed to go right where the shoulder seams are. What? Let's go on the other shoulder. Well, this one I didn't mark. Okay, but that's where they're supposed to show you where the shoulders are, so it helps you align the neck. Oh. Yes. See, let me show you again, because I hadn't marked those, and look, I'm right, the 2 dots are right where the seam of the shoulder is. Wow. Okay, so now we know those marks on the collar where you align your shoulders to your neckline. Mind blown. And not for anything, McCall's patterns. You think you'd tell us that? Align the shoulder markings to the shoulders. Okay, well, we figured that out. All right, so now you know. That's what it's for. Man, do I love learning. Okay, I'm still pressing, by the way. So I'm going to show you how to slip stitch. Here's the outside of the robe. This is the inside of the robe. So we are stitching the inside of the band, and remember, I'm right above the seam line, if you can see it. Okay, so you move your needle underneath it. All right, you're under, let me try to get here. You are under the band. You grab the bottom fabric, which for me is the hot pink, okay? But you grab only a little bit of it. You don't want the needle to show on the other side, all right? Then you move your needle up, you go through the band, and you get your needle to come out right at the fold. And what it's going to give you is a tiny stitch that's going to cover the fold and under. And then you go back under, go right into the fold, grab a tiny amount of the pink fabric, all right? And what it does is that it secures the band to the edges here. You really don't want to do big stitches. You want to do small stitches. And you want to make sure that you don't grab too much of the fabric underneath it. So now I like to use this finger here. I put it under where I am planting my needle, where I'm grabbing the hot pink fabric, because it's helping me know whether or not I pick too much. If I pick too much of that fabric, what's going to happen is that I will feel the needle go against my finger. If I don't, then I know I got enough, just enough to do my stitch. And you're going to do that along the entire robe. So that's going to take a minute. So imagine when you have to do a king size quilt and you're doing the binding by hand, how long it's going to take you. So if anything, I hope this series is helping you appreciate the amount of work that goes into a garment. I'm not going to say well-made garment because that's my first one, but you see the amount of work, right, that it takes. And maybe you understand why when somebody who sews and sews very well, like my mom or some of you guys, they go, oh, it's gonna ring twice, hold on. Because it's 2 o'clock. Okay, So don't forget to check in the back, okay? Make sure you don't have any stitches. So now you understand why somebody who sews, like somebody like my mother, for instance, or some of you guys who've been sewing since high school, and we're talking 1960s, right? You go to the store and you look at the garments that they're selling and it's garbage. Because you know that it's not made properly, it's not fitted, the fabric orientation or whatever, it's just, or even the type of material, the way it's been sewn or cut, you know that it's not good. Oh, the work. They won't leave me alone even on vacation, I'm telling you. So I hope this gives you an appreciation for the amount of work that goes into making something. And what am I making? I'm making a robe. It's not a big deal, right? Imagine if I was making an evening gown with petticoat and layers and trim and all of that other stuff. How much work would go into it? All right, so yeah, I definitely got a renewed appreciation for couture. Okay, it looks like I need to put my camera on the charger. And what I'm going to do is just continue to do this. I'm going to finish slip stitching the whole collar band around. It's going to take about an hour to do this. And then when I come back, we will do the belt, which shouldn't take long. And I'll be done, and then I'll try it. And we'll get a good laugh at it, because it won't fit me, I'm sure. So I've just finished the whole band. But now, what do we do here at the bottom? Because you see that you have a little bit left over here. So what we're going to do is very simple. We're just going to fold it onto itself so that it meets the edges right here. So, and then fold that one so that it does the same thing. Okay. We're just going to do a few stitches here to hold it in place. One and two. Okay. And then you finish folding the rest onto itself. I'm going to use my scissors here to make sure this is nice and flat. So you just make sure that this is meeting the same line here, and then we just stitch the end. And I'm going on the top part of the fold. I'm not going on the inside part, I'm going on the top part here. Now for the belt, it's pretty straightforward. This is my belt, okay? And I had pinned it earlier, if you remember, when I was playing around to see what the pattern would look like. Alright, so you have, how did I pin this? Where's my pin head? Oh, here we go. So for the belt you have two parts. You have, it's split in half. So you're going to open your belt, and on one end you have this arrow, we're going to call it, and on the other end you have the same arrow. So you put one arrow to the right, one arrow to the left. Let me unpin all of this real quick. Okay, so one arrow to the right, one arrow to the left, and then we're going to join right here, make a 5/8 of an inch stitch, and then once that's done, press it open, and then we're going to fold it inside out like this once it's done, once you have the middle part, right? And we're going to press it, and then we stitch right here all along, but you're going to, so you do the whole around, okay? I'll show you, but we're going to leave about that much all together unstitched, and that's going to allow us to go inside like this, and we're going to grab the belt and pull it right side out. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, well, let me do the half first. Let me join those two pieces together right here. I'll be right back. So once I have pressed the whole belt, I'm going to pick an area where I won't stitch, and it's going to be this one from here to just about here. So you just you start here at the edge, right? I mean really on the edge, and you're doing a stitch all along this side, then you stop, then you go over here and you start over again, and then you do the stitch all along this side like this, and then when you get to the other point, you go this way and you go all the way to the end here. And once that's done, you basically go to your opening and you put your fingers in there and you try to grab the end of the belt, and then you loop it out of the opening this way. I don't know if that makes sense. We're gonna try to do it. We'll see how it looks like. And then once it's the right side out, you repress it, you pull those edges back inside like we did with the end of the robe band, and you hand stitch them. That's my understanding of it. So let's start this. So if you remember on the pattern instruction, it showed you how to deal with bulky stuff like this, right? So we're just gonna cut the corner right here, right? So that way, and same thing here. So that way when I turn it around, I don't have the bulk of the corner. So now what I gotta do is find the one part that's not sewn, and just like if I was doing a sock, I gotta go in there, and there's ways of doing it. You can get a safety pin. Okay. And pull it and slide it through, but we're just gonna go like this. There we go. All right. Okay, so now I need something sharp like this. And I'm going to bring my corner out. Now what I'm doing is that I'm inserting my scissors in there. And I'm going this way and that way. And I'm bringing the points back together, okay? All right, so that's one side. Now I gotta go and fetch the other side. So that's done. Now I just gotta press it, and let me find the opening. Where I have the opening, I'm just going to fold it onto itself like this and stitch it the same way that I did the bottom, and we are done. And ta-da! I'm done, it's finished. It's completed. Well, the only thing I didn't do with the loops for the belt. I have to figure out how to do that. They want you to do them with thread. What do you call it? A thread catcher or something? I gotta learn how to do that. They're really not explaining well, but for now, this is done. So here's the belt. I could have done better here. But the edges, if I find them, are sewn. I can't even see where they are. Where are the edges that I sewn by hand? Whatever. It doesn't really matter. I can't find them. Okay. So here it is, and it's done. Very happy with the color, the band. I'm very happy with the way I did the end here. This, obviously, I have to get the crimping scissors, and I have to get the edges here so it doesn't fray. Shoulders, I was supposed to gather. Did you tell you that? I didn't know. Well, I kind of had an idea, but I did 2 pleats, and that's fine. For this particular garment, it's not a big deal, and everything else is done. So the big question is, does it fit me? Well, let's try it on. Okay, are you ready for the reveal? Now, I removed my top. I only have a t-shirt underneath it, right? T-shirt, okay. Now, this is what it looks like. I made this, and it fits me. Now, granted, I look like a barrel, okay? There's no doubt about it. But because, you know, it's all here, right? But it fits. And I made this. I made this. Look, I made this. So if I don't wear the belt and I'm casual, you know. Plus I got like pants with pockets and stuff. So yeah, I just got to lose some weight, which I'm going to have to do because I don't want to look like a barrel, you know. But it fits me, and I made a robe, and it feels so nice and soft. So let me review this real quick. So I don't know if this is supposed to be considered an easy pattern or an intermediate pattern, but I did it, okay? I challenged myself and I did it, and I learned a lot while doing this, and I gotta thank you. Sleeves could be a little bit longer, but I guess like once I lose part of here, that's fine. But then again, you know, in the morning you're preparing breakfast and stuff, you don't want stuff in your in the way. Oh, it feels so soft and nice. Actually very nice. I like this. Okay. Things that are missing on this particular pattern. Pockets. It would be nice to have pockets. You know, to put the phone in and stuff like that. And then it would be nice to have a thing in the back, which is easy to add, so that you can hang it. And then I still have to do the loops for the belt. They want you to do something called a thread catcher or thread carrier. I've never done one before. I have to learn how to do it. It's not a big deal. You can just keep the belt like that if you want. Just, you know, don't lose it. But yeah, all right, so things I didn't do too well, because I have to go through the negatives, right? And then I'll talk about the positive. I didn't read the pattern. Well, I was supposed to really, and I did read the pattern several times before I did this, but there were some parts that I skipped, and that was the general instructions that are common to all patterns. I didn't read that. Obviously, I skipped the part where you finish all your seams. Otherwise, I would have finished my seams, but I caught on at the second video. I started doing the seams. So for the sleeves and everything else, this did I finish? No. For the sleeves, I did not finish the seams. I finished the seams for the cuffs and the bottom. So obviously, I got to get crimping scissors and do that. The gathering, I didn't do that, but I did the pleats, and for that pattern, that's okay. If I was doing a nice dress shirt, definitely I would do the gather. I have to learn how to do that. What else? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, everything else, I think I did pretty good. It's not crooked. It's nicely done. The seams are, I would say, 90% where they're supposed to be. Some of them are right on. Some of them are a little 1/8 of an inch off. But you really got to go and look at it to see it. It's not like very obvious. What else? All right, so this is a size 14 in patterns, and it fits me right here at the shoulder. So 14, I would say, If I was doing a shirt would definitely fit me. I would have to measure the arm circumference and the length of the arms, and I got big cuffs here, wrists. But apparently for shoulders, but then again, it doesn't really go like this when you have a shirt, right? But yeah, 14 was the right size. It fits me, all right? It fits me. It's not snug. You can see I can move my arms and I'm not like ripping the whole thing. So 14 pattern fits me. Pants, I'm gonna do probably a 16 because I like to be loose in pants, okay? So it's 4:30. It's time to stop. Comment down below. Let me know how I did. And you can be critical. I'll take any critic. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? Where could I improve? I'd say it's not too bad for a first garment, right? Because so far, all I've made is quilt and 2 aprons, plus a robe now. Threads everywhere. So comment down below, let me know how I did. And then most importantly, let me know if you want me to continue doing Adventures in Sewing series. It's not going to be all the time because again, this is not the regular content of my channel. But when I make something else, you let me know if you want to be a part of it. So yeah, I'm happy. I made this. I'm proud of myself. And thank you, Magda, for modeling. She's got to get her fat pads on now. And yeah, I like it. I'm giddy. I'm just very happy. Even Scott was like, wow, you did this. That's pretty good. So the husband is impressed. Now, is mom going to be impressed? That is the question. We'll have to send her pictures and find out. I will talk to you later. Until then, thank you for watching. And tomorrow I'm cleaning. Probably going to be posted on New Year's Eve. How about a declutter series for the new year, right? Deep cleaning and declutter for the new year. That's what we're going to do, room by room. And I got an idea. I'm going to put every room on a little sticky note in a little jar, and we're just going to pick. And we'll find out what happens, all right? We'll do it in order at which I pick. Thanks for watching, you guys. Bye.